Daily Devotion with Pastor Balla for August 28th, 2020 from 1 Kings chapter 11, The Enemies Return. We rarely do realize how important something is until it is taken away. God gives us His protection. Even in today's world, as Christians, we receive this protection. But do we realize this protection? Especially when something bad happens to us. Do we not realize that things could be much worse? Or do we think that God isn't doing what He has promised? By the way, God always fulfills His promises. So to teach the people the lesson, God is going to remove His protection so that the people will realize who God is. Enemies will be allowed to return. Verse 14, and the Lord raised up an adversary against Solomon, Hadad the Edomite. He was of the royal house in Edom. Verse 23, God also raised up as an adversary to him Rezin, the son of Eliada, who had fled from his master Hadadezer, king of Zobab. Verse 26, Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, from Ephraimite of Zerah, a servant of Solomon, whose mother's name Zeruiah, a widow, also lifted up his hand against the king. Verse 29, and at that time when Jeroboam went out of Jerusalem, the prophet Ahijah, the Shilonite, found him on the road. Now Ahijah had dressed himself in a new garment, and the two of them were alone in the open country. Then Ahijah laid hold of the new garment that was on him and tore it into 12 pieces. Verse 31, and he said to Jeroboam, take for yourself 10 pieces, for thus says the Lord, the God of Israel, behold, I am about to tear the kingdom from the hand of Solomon, and will give you 10 tribes. But he shall have 1 tribe, for the sake of my servant David, and for the sake of Jerusalem, the city that I have chosen out of all the tribes of Israel, because they have forsaken me, and worshipped Ashtaroth, the goddess of the Sidonians, Chemosh, the god of Moab, and Milcom, the god of the Ammonites, and have not walked in my ways, doing what is right in my sight, and keeping my statutes and my rules, as David his father did. Verse 34, nevertheless, I will not take the whole kingdom out of his hand, but I will make him ruler all the days of his life, for the sake of David my servant, whom I chose, who kept my commandments and my statutes. But I will take the kingdom out of his son's hands, and will give it to you, 10 tribes. Yet to his son I will give 1 tribe, that David my servant may always have a lamp before me in Jerusalem, the city where I have chosen to put my name. Verse 37, and I will take you, and you shall reign over all that your soul desires, and you shall be king over Israel. And if you will listen to all that I command you, and will walk in my ways, and do what is right in my eyes by keeping my statutes and my commandments, as David my servant did, I will be with you, and will build you a sure house, as I built for David. And I will give Israel to you, and I will afflict the offspring of David because of this, but not forever. Verse 40, Solomon sought therefore to kill Jeroboam. But Jeroboam rose and fled to Egypt, to Shishak, king of Egypt, and was in Egypt until the death of Solomon. Verse 43, and Solomon slept with his fathers, and was buried in the city of David his father, and Rehoboam his son reigned in his place. Join me again tomorrow as we hear how a country can be divided. God's peace and many blessings be with you. Thank you for watching, and please take an opportunity to share this devotion with others. If you have enjoyed these daily devotions, please consider making a donation to Peace Lutheran Church, 24024 West Main Street, Plainfield, Illinois, 60544. Thank you again for watching.